Okay, so I thought I would come back on and talk to people about the situation in Ukraine, which is really, really crazy. I did throw some cards on it. I tried to get in. I tried to look at it from different angles. I tried to look at it from the perspective of Putin. I tried to look at it from the perspective of Biden. I tried to look at it from the perspective of the United Nations, and I asked a series of questions. First off, from just to reiterate, from Putin's perspective, it was the West that was systematically encroaching on the East and violating treaties and promises that they had made, and playing games and continually going in and closing off his trade, engaging in sanctions, etc. And so he felt it was necessary. Also, from his perspective, which I think is common knowledge, he feels that Ukraine was part of the Greater Russia, just like we think Texas is part of the United States, California is part of the United States. If Texas and California were to cede from the United States and become independent Latino countries, people start speaking Spanish again, and then we went in, the federal government, and said, no, you're part of the United States, we're taking back Texas and California. That's how he compares it. You know, great, Texas can become an independent Latino state, and the federal government will withdraw its troops from California and Texas, and there'll be a mini country, like a smaller version of Mexico. And then if the federal government comes in and says, well, we built this area, we built this port over here, we built the economy of California, they would be seen as the aggressors. So from his perspective, that's his argument. You know, Catherine the Great built the port in Odessa. So they feel that this is a state that they lost, and they were promised by the West that certain things would be done, and now the West and UN is encroaching deeper and deeper into the East. So it's important to go on both sides and see it from both perspectives. And then the idea that this was something very radical that he did, that it's kind of out of character for him to do something this bold. So from his perspective, he felt that he had no choice because we were on the brink of bringing them into the UN, bringing them into NATO, pardon me, bringing them into NATO. Now there's been this condemnation by the UN. It's very, very likely that we could be seeing UN peacekeeping troops going into Ukraine, but they don't want it to become another Bosnia. They don't want it to be a situation where they go in and they can't get out, and it becomes this Cold War of people shelling each other. But it could wind up that they have no choice but to bring UN peacekeeping, NATO in order to secure the area. It always goes back to the same thing with Putin. If you want me to stop, you're going to have to pay me. You're going to have to honor certain agreements. We have to go back to previous treaties and agreements that we made in the past. And you're the aggressors. You're the ones pushing into the East. You're the one. So it goes back and forth. This craziness that you feel when you go into the energy of Biden and the West, do something, do something, do something. And so you immediately go as a remote viewer, and I try and put myself into every situation. Are they going to, say, try and assassinate Putin, which was the first question? I don't think we're there yet. But my first thought was, well, maybe they'll take him out. You know, maybe he's so crazy, somebody will try and take him out. They're not there yet, but there is a feeling in the West amongst leadership that this individual is so mentally unstable, something has to be done to control him or rein him in, because it's becoming increasingly obvious that he is an existential threat to the planet. And there's no stopgaps, right? We have crazy people running around, just like in North Korea, that can do whatever they want, right? If they build nuclear weapons, et cetera, et cetera. So the same situation is kind of playing itself out with Russia, that there's this person that's perceived of as unpredictable, mentally unstable, has nuclear weapons. And so a lot of these emergency sessions are about, we have to do something now. There's a lot of pressure on Biden, of course. It always goes back to the same thing: power, money, trade, and the expansion of the West into the East from his perspective. I did not go into Xi and aggression against Taiwan. I didn't do that. I'll do that. I can try and do that tomorrow during Hot Topics at 4 p.m., I believe. We're doing Hot Topics. We do Hot Topic Thursdays, and I'm sure it'll be interesting. But I think the situation, it's very obvious that the UN is going to have to go into Ukraine at this point. I've also been feeling energetically like the earth moving, the energy, the vibration of potential earthquakes. Not to freak anybody out, but I feel like the West Coast is due, and it just feels like I feel a shifting energy a little bit, just to be aware of that. At the same time, I feel like the best thing that we can all do is stay calm, go to work, be about our business, chop wood, carry water, deal with our lives, how we can control them to the best of our ability. If you want to do some prepping, you know, have a little money put aside, etc., that's probably not a bad idea, because I do think that Putin is going to dramatically increase his cyber attacks. I really feel we're going to be hit with a lot of cyber attacks here in the United States, the Western countries. He's going to accelerate it feels very strong that he will be accelerating the cyber attacks. Desperate people do desperate things, and that is the scary situation that we're dealing with right now. But my advice to people is do some prepping, stay calm, breathe, and we will get through this. We will get through this. What's important, though, is to understand that very smart people are working together to keep the planet safe. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow, Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for our regular Hot Topic get-together. All right, be well, everyone. Bye-bye.